Hi guys, I'm Heath Manning from Manning Cues. This is Advanced Kicking Part 2. This will be kicking a object ball, or kicking a cue ball rather, from a long rail to a ball, object ball, placed on the end rail. In order to give the cue ball a value, we know when we're kicking to the right that this pocket is 0. If this pocket is 0, we know that this is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and 80 mirrored on that rail. Same values. Let's just place a cue ball on the table on the 60-30 line. There's our 60-30 line. So we know if we kick that at 30, it'll come to 0. Now, that's important to know because we know that that won't come to our object ball. We know where our cue ball is going to go. Now, if we want to hit a ball on the end rail, we need to be able to identify the value of these diamonds. In order to do that, we need to know one thing: whether the cue ball has a value over 40 or under 40. The cue on the table is on track line 40 to 20. That means if a cue ball were on that line, the cue ball would have a value of 40. If the cue ball has a value of 40 or less, these values on the end rail are negative 5, 10, and 15. So if this is 40, 30, 20, 10, 0, when we go below 0, this becomes negative 5, 10, and 15 if the cue ball has a value of 40 or less. Right now, our cue ball has a value of 40, or 41 I should say rather, and higher. We can see that the cue ball is on the right of the track line from 40 to 20 to 0. So if our cue ball has a value above 41 and up, this would be 0, negative 10, 20, and 30. Why? Because we have to change the values for the length of the shot and for the difference in angle created by going further down the table. So, right now, I'm going to remove the stick, but just remember, if your cue ball's value, you don't need to know that line, but if your cue ball's value is 40 and less, negative 5, 10, 15. 41 and up, negative 10, 20, and 30. Now, because our cue ball is on the 60-30 line, sorry, that's not 60-30. This is 60-30. My mistake. That's 50, 40. Right now we've given the cue ball an accurate value of 60. We know that that'll come towards 30, cue ball making contact about here and coming to this rail and coming to this pocket, which was our destination to give our cue ball an accurate value on the long rail. If we want to hit this first diamond, we know that it's negative 10. But if we aim at this first diamond, we can see that the cue ball would hit here, right under my stick, and miss our object ball. So we don't give the object ball a value in front of the diamond because that is not accurate. We have to give the object ball a value on the angle that it will be struck from. So we're gonna say we'll give it a value of 10, and let's just see what happens. This is 60, positive 60, positive rail, positive long rail. Below 0 comes to negative 10 because we're past 40. The cue ball's value is higher than 40. So we're going to say negative 10 from positive 60 is 50. Divide 50 by 2, which will give you 25. So that's our aim point with our cue ball. So I go over my cue ball and I aim right at 25. I put my tip where the cue ball would rest when it contacts the rail, and then I'll pivot over to my value of negative 10. and we can see that we're going to miss our ball completely. So that value is not correct. So instead of negative 10, here's 0, here's negative 5. Let's just come over and see we're very close to negative 6. So then we will do the formula again. We'll subtract 6 from our 60, which gives us 54. Half of 54 is 27. So now we'll go, again, right over the cue ball with our butt and aim at increment 27 on the short rail. Go from 27, placing the tip where the cue ball would rest, and come over, okay, and go to 6. Now we're hitting our ball, and we're hitting just to the right side of center, so we should hit it, maybe even make it, okay? On a great day, we're going to make these shots. On a bad day, we're still going to hit the ball. So I now have a confident line, and you see the line of the cue ball will take if it's struck and you hit the right destination over there when you're aiming. What's going to happen is you can see if there's any balls in your way here, and that's a great thing to know. You can come over here and clearly see if there's an object ball in your way. Now you're not saying it might be in my way, it either is or it isn't. So when we come back over here, this was 60, that was negative 6, so that gives us 54, so we're aiming at 28. So when we aim this shot at 28, because we're going to the end rail, we will require a quarter to a half a tip of English depending on how the rail plays on your table and depending on the weight of your stroke and how you play. On this table I'll need 0 to a quarter of a tip of English, not much at all, and I should go over and make my contact. So I'm down, level cue, 2 tips up, a very slight amount of English, aiming at 28. And I make my hit. Now, I hit almost the face of the ball out here, just off the face. I wanted to hit over here. But if we aim at the center of the ball, when we're measuring, we're at least going to get a hit. And that's what we're going for here. We want to make contact. Now, I'm going to place the ball here, and we're going to work it out because now we're under 40. Under 40 changes the values of the end rail. So now this is negative 5, 10, and 15. If you don't remember to change that when working the formula, you will miss. So let's find our natural track line. First step always in kicking. Natural track line to the corner pocket. So we know that this is 2010. We know that this is 30-15. We've been on both sides of the ball. So let's go in the middle. Let's come to 25 to 12 and a half. Well, here's my 25, there's my 12 and a half. I'm not quite over it. I'm just to the right side of the cue ball. So let's go to 26 and 13. Well, there I am. So I can give my cue ball a value of 26 because I know that that'll come to the corner pocket. Now let's bring the cue over and try to give this a value. Now remember, there's only 5 segments in here now, not 10, because this is 0 and this is negative 5. So in the middle is 2.5. So when we come over, I'm about 3. Okay, so if I take my value of 26 and I subtract my negative value of 3, that gives me 23. So 11.5 would be my contact point on my short rail to make contact. So I aim at my 11.5 to prove this, pivot over and put my finger where 3 would be, and bring my cue to it. And I'm actually contacting up here, which is not the best. I want to contact lower, so I'm going to go and give that a value of 2. So 2 off 16, 2 off 26 rather, is going to be 24. Half of that is 12. So now I'm going to place my cue pointing at 12 through my cue ball, tip resting where the cue ball would be when it contacts the rail, and pivot over to value 2. Well, now I'm right in the crease where I want to be to make contact. So if I aim at 12, I should make my contact. As long as I put some chalk on my cue. So let me chalk that up, and I'll just line that right back up on the same line. Okay, we're there. We're 26:13. Oh, sorry, 26. We're here, 26. Yeah, that was our line. So now I'll shoot the same shot with some chalk. And I make my hit. Any part of this game any one little thing can make you miss your shot. Don't let chalk be one of them. There's no reason for that. That's just me being teaching and not focusing. But even not focusing, I'm going to hit my ball. The system does work. It is the best system on the market for kicking, and implement it into your game. You're going to have to try this. Get your stroke down. Get your tip location down. When I say to you quarter to a half tip of English, or 0 to a quarter tip of English, that's with my tip. That's with 11.75 mil diameter. So if you have a bigger tip, you're going to have to apply a little more than that, because you're not getting the same reaction I am. But the formula is the same. You just have to use your equipment and make it work. The formula for this is, for kicking from a long rail to an end rail, the formula is cue ball, subtract object ball value, because we're on the negative rail. Divide that number by 2. So if this were 50 and this were 10, 50 subtract 10 is 40, divided by 2 is 20. That's your contact point. You'll have to work it out like I did to be accurate. Okay? And make sure you're giving your object ball a value and your cue ball a value. The cue ball's value is the direction it will be shot from. So that value is in line with these diamonds on the rail here, not in front of the diamond. And the object ball's value is calculated by which the cue ball will be traveling at it, that angle. So I have to go through my object ball, or next to my object ball if I'm trying to make it, and give it a value in line with these diamonds on this rail, okay, through the ball or where I want to make contact. It's very important that you give these balls values on the angles they will be hit from or shot from, not in front. And again, aim at the diamonds when kicking the cue ball. If I'm aiming right now at diamond 20, okay, I'm aiming here. I'm not aiming in front over here, okay? I'm making contact way up here. That's a whole cue ball width difference, and you will not hit your ball if you do that. If you have any questions on this video, send me a comment. If you like my videos, please click like and let me know. And if you have any questions, comments, visit my website. You can contact me from there as well. And I do appreciate your support on manicuse.com. Thanks, guys.